a member of Rowe Middle School's Black Student Union. In the future, BSU members will be attending interviews with Black leaders in our area about triumphs, struggles, success, and obstacles they face in their experience of life. Today's interview features a former Rowe Middle School student and Milwaukee High student, Chaudrey, who is currently a Milwaukee coach and a model for brands like Nike and Adidas. We hope you enjoy this interview. Peace. All right, so the first question is, how's school?
Well, what you want to know about, man? Middle school or high school?
Both.
Middle school was interesting because I moved here to Portland, Oregon in the 7th grade, and in Colorado, I went to a predominantly all-black school. When I moved here, I went from being in an all-black school to being the only black kid in all my classes. So that was a little bit of a transition. Like, it probably took me a solid 3 or 4 months before I felt comfortable with being myself and being around like this many white kids.
Yeah. How about high school?
Oh, high school was a breeze. I was a smack talker, but, went to class, did my thing, didn't get in too much trouble. So high school was a lot of fun.
That's cool. What was it like growing up in the Milwaukee area?
You know what? Growing up in the Milwaukee area, it was cool. I learned a lot as far as, like, I got to see how some of the kids kind of have more freedom to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do. Whereas I came from a household of you need to ask permission for everything. Like, Mom, can I just go out on the porch? But once that barrier was broken and I kind of got to make friends, like black, white, Hispanic, every ethnicity.
Yeah.
Then it was just all uphill from there, man. Just hanging out within the community, playing basketball, going down to the river, jumping in the water, just all the stuff that I guess the locals like to do here.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I'm still trying to break that little barrier right now.
You got a lot of time. Only being in the middle school, like you haven't even like developed the person that you want to be yet.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what's your perspective on the black community?
My perspective on the black community, like within Milwaukee?
Yeah.
We don't have a strong enough presence, in my personal opinion. Has it grown a lot since I've been here? Oh, friggin', it's unfolded, like, big time. I still feel that even though we are getting, like, more ethnic youth within our sports programs and our academic programs, we kind of need the parents to be more involved.
Mm-hmm. I understand, like, where you're coming from. If you could talk to your younger self right now, what would you say?
I would say a lot of things to my younger self. For one, I would tell my younger self, don't half-ass it for school, because I did the bare minimum just to get by. Mm-hmm. Especially like once you get to high school, being an athlete, you kind of get this mindset of, oh, I kind of stand out in this or that, so my teachers are just going to let me slide by. And for me, that was what it was. Like, I was an outstanding track athlete, and my teachers, they definitely let me slide by. I would definitely go back and, like, knock my high school self, like, in the head and be like, dude, do your work. My problem was I would do the work, I just wouldn't turn it in.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you'd have all the stuff that you just wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question again. How'd you let Sean dunk on you?
This one, it's always said we wasn't going to bring that up, but since we decided to bring it up, let me go ahead and spit to everybody that's listening real quick, okay? During our drills, I looked over at my other coach, Keenan. I said, hey, I'm about to go up and just swat one of these fools right now, all right? Wasn't paying attention to who was going up for a layup, and so I stepped over, and I jumped, and when I say jumped, I mean I jumped high enough just to put one credit card underneath me, and he went up and caught me with a surprisey, and oopie, just dunked it right on my head. But that's cool. I told him it ain't gonna happen again.
All right. What's it like being a model for Adidas?
So I'm actually not a model for Adidas. My agency finds me the work. I do work with Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, you name it. But I guess to answer that question for what's it like to be a model for those sporting companies, it's really cool because I get to see everything, like all their product before they hit the line. Like, I get to see them like a year in advance.
Do you like you get the product?
Sometimes not.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so like for example, I've already seen the 2020 Olympic basketball gear. Like I've already worn the uniforms as well as the track gear. Do I get to keep any of it? No, because it hasn't been released yet.
Huh. Okay, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
What do you view as your goal in the community?
My goal in the community is actually reaching back down into the youth to, like how you said, what would I go back and tell myself to make sure that they do the work that they need to do right then and there, so that way as they get older, like once you graduate high school and you move on to that collegiate level, you kind of already have that mindset of, if I continue to work hard, like there's nothing that can stop me from pursuing my dreams or my goals and going wherever it is that I want to go.
But that's great. What was it like being in Rowe when you were here? Because I know you've been in this room a little bit.
Yeah, I spent a day or two or even a dance here when I couldn't go to one of the dances due to in-school suspension. But man, being at Rowe was cool. Like I said, after I adjusted to being the only black kid in all my classes, I made a few friends. You know, I had my first girlfriend here in Portland, so it was cool. Yeah, I mean, it was solid. I had a great group of teachers. Some who left the school. I think one is still here. I don't know, Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark is still. Oh, Mr. Clark taught you?
Yep.
That's crazy.
He's the only teacher that ever called me by my real name, Chaudrey, instead of Chad.
Wow.
So, mad respect, mad love to you, Mr. Clark. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get Mr. Clark after this.
Do it, man.
Yeah. All right. What advice would you have to people who want to follow your footsteps?
Man, the best advice I would say is, if you want to follow in like my footsteps or whoever's footsteps, you can follow their guidelines a little bit, but do it how you want to do it. All right. Like you have to look at. So for example, if you look at me and you're like, man, when I grow up, I want to be a fitness model, or I want to get into acting too, just like him. I'm gonna tell you, you can do it. Like I can show you the ropes on how to get you into it, like the mindset that you need to have for it. But I want you to do it better than me. Because, like by the time you get to it, I hope that I've already done more than enough, and I'm not still trying to compete with you young guys. All right. Like I want you. Like I want to hand the throne to you instead of you sneak up behind me and snatch it.
Yeah. How old were you when you started playing basketball, and how did that make you want to become a coach?
I actually started basketball late. I started in the 8th grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that was my first time playing. And I think the reason that I even picked it up was just because my stepdad was heavily into sports, and that was our way of communicating. And so after playing 8th grade, I didn't play freshman year because I didn't make the team. But sophomore, junior, and senior year, I went from playing JV to swinging bar to straight bar. And afterwards, after I graduated high school, like 3 years after being out of it, I would still play all the time, whether it was City League, with my boys at the park or whatever. And my old high school coach hit me up and was like, hey, I want you to coach this 6th grade team. We don't have anybody to do it, and I think you would be perfect. Me and my best friend, AJ, gave it a shot and just absolutely fell in love with it. And what I took away from it was, I thought that I knew so much about the game and that, like, I could do so much on the court. But actually, like, from coaching, I've learned much more than I already knew.
That's great. Like, to really understand that you can learn more than helping than doing.
Exactly.
What do I have to do to be able to, like, make the freshman team?
Man, to make the freshman team, I would say right now at this age, as an 8th grader, you have to look at, okay, what are my weaknesses? So for example, if I got a mean right hand, but I struggle with dribbling with my left hand, this offseason, you better hit the courts, whether it's indoor or outdoor, and turn your weakness into your strength. Yeah. And so you just got to go out there and do a bunch of dribbling drills with your left hand, or if you want to get faster, you just got to go outside and start chopping those feet to get them faster, man.
Yeah, that's something I got to work on.
Yeah, man. Like, I overheard a dude say that he wanted to be able to dunk by like his sophomore year or next year maybe, and so like it's possible. I was able to dunk at the end of my freshman year, and I was only 5'4".
What? Hold on.
What? Please say that again. You were 5'4".
You were dunking the end of freshman year, and you were my height.
I was only 5'4", man. My freshman year, went into the year, I was 5'4". I weighed 115 pounds, and I didn't make the basketball team my freshman year. So throughout fall/winter, I gained a little bit of weight, and I went up to like 135. But by the end of the year, after doing my track workouts for track and field, first ball I dunked was a volleyball, and then I switched it over to a basketball. And all it took then was just coordination. And that summer going into my sophomore year, I went from 5'4" to 6 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start working on my legs because I can touch a net.
Well, yo, man, you can if you really wanted to, you could push yourself and get up there and get the rim.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of repetition.
Yeah, repetition. 5'4".
I didn't mean to shock you like that. Yeah, I'm a whole foot taller now.
Yeah. Wow. What workouts did you do in track to dunk at 5'4"?
A lot of jumping workouts, man. I was a jumper. I did a long and triple jump, and so it was a lot of like single leg bounding, frog hops. They're called happy jumps, where you put one leg on a bench and the other leg is on the floor, and you're jumping off that leg on the floor, just getting the repetition, like trying to get that fast twitch muscle. Also, like that way your muscle memory is set to where you don't have to take forever to power down. Mm-hmm. You can just quickly, like a spring, load and bam.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm gonna start doing that.
Well, yeah, man. I tell you what, like in the off season, if you and like any of your other teammates that want to train, work out before hitting high school, like we open that up to the incoming freshmen. Like I'm all about training you guys to be more athletic, so that way when you get on the court, you feel more comfortable or more confident. So when you go up for a layup or whatever it may be, you're not worried about somebody blocking your shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you with a question.
All right.
So being an 8th grader, being a hooper and all, what's your goal as far as like basketball goal going into next year as a freshman?
I'd like to be one of the best players on the freshman team, honestly.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna do that, I need to put a lot more work in and start going to the gym more.
Yeah, man. Well, see, you already saying that you want to be the best player. That's a good mindset to have, and you know that you have to put in more work in order to be that best player. You just got to live up to that. So like if my sound man over here is like, well, I want to be the best dunker come next year, come sophomore year, you better start like attempting a lot of dunks. And it doesn't mean like flashy dunks. Like the only way you get good at things is by practicing. It's repetition. How do you become a better shooter?
Shoot a lot.
Exactly. So yeah, you just gotta do everything over and over and over and over and over again.
Well, thank you, Chaudrey, for coming and doing this interview.
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
All right.